and welcome to the Lap Noobs. We're into Saturday E3 2023. I'm joined by Dave as ever.
Hello.
And man, we're moving straight into the battle, the Saturday battle.
Oh, what a juicy one!
It's a juicy one. What a cool set of objectives we have lined up.
Yeah, but I hate to tell you this, dear listener. Double Jotun this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. The most boring enemy there is in all of the enemies of the Empire. They are the dullest. However, you blessed game team came up with fun objectives and a dynamic battle.
Yeah.
Bravo.
So good.
Oh, man.
Both battles were really good.
I agree. Why don't you talk about the objectives?
So, really the objectives for this one, I'd heard about it the night before while I was pretty fucking half cut going around the various nations, very late as well. But anyway, the objective is basically transport a bunch of bombs to blow up a mountain pass. Immediately sounds very fun.
Yeah.
Also, I heard a little bit about I can't speak, you may even know a bit more about this than me. There's a orc meditating, basically doing some kind of ritual.
Yeah.
The Imperial orcs were basically supposed to be handling that and dealing with that.
Yeah.
I believe, as we get... I really had nothing to do with this, but I believe the Imperial orcs did deal with this situation.
So I think there was like a herald.
Yeah.
And that was doing... That would have given the Jotun armies strength or something, or create a new army. Some bollocks. Something bad militarily. And we had heralds who were making these bombs.
Yes.
And the bombs are like... We had to transport the bombs
God,
to a location.
Yeah.
If you are carrying a bomb and you are struck, then the bomb goes off and you immediately are vaporized. There's no like bleed out timer. You are
everyone within 20 foot goes down as well.
Yeah, down to
like
their bleed counter.
Yeah.
But if you're holding the thing, you just go poof like a fucking the Hurt Locker. Do you know what I mean? Like
it felt very much, like that bit in Game of Thrones with the bit in Blackwater Bay where they have the alchemist fire that goes off and it absolutely just vaporizes everything.
Yeah.
That was the imagery I had in my head where it's just like, woo!
Let's not talk about Game of Thrones.
That period of Game of Thrones was fucking shit hot though, to be fair.
I mean,
that was.
I guess so. Tyrion's awesome. But yeah, so this kind of got set up, and we were fighting. We were fighting with all the nations. Yeah. It was, Ian, some might say, a 7-nation army.
I hadn't thought about that. It literally was
a 7-nation army.
And it couldn't hold us back.
It couldn't hold us back.
Yeah.
Not the Queen of England or the Hounds of Hell.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Oh, jeez.
So it was everyone except for Wintermark, Marches, and Dawn.
Yeah.
So that would be, for those playing at home, Navarr, the League.
Yep. Imperial Orcs, Urizen, Brass Coast, High Guard.
Yeah.
We're up to 6. There's one more. Varushka. Of course. It's like one of my favourite nations.
Yeah. Awkward.
Phenomenal. It was a lot of fun. Standing was good fun. So basically we have a muster. At muster, I kind of like this aspect of Talis, actually. I got called out at muster when they were basically describing what the objectives were, and more importantly, what the people who you listen to and what you listen for was. And Georg kind of used me as an object lesson, calling upon me and the brand that I carry as to why, asked me what the brand was about. I will spoil it here as it's been going on too long.
Yeah.
Basically, the response is that I had the courage to accept responsibility, and that is expanded into essentially for causing the rout.
Yeah.
But the actual wordage is that I had the courage to accept responsibility. But it was fun to be this is what makes great game, right? Stuff like this doesn't matter if nobody cares, right? So you're there, and it's all of a sudden I'm involved in this whole thing because I'm listening intently to all these incredible players who were bear in mind all the people who stand up and are leading the army and doing the thing, which includes Wynn, by the way, who's a good friend of ours, played by Paige. Georg, who I'm good friends with, loads of people who were just really awesome. And it's just like all of a sudden you're engaged in a thing, and you're like, oh, okay, it's me, and it's like it's fun, right? And I'm like, Talis can be like an object lesson in like, don't fuck up like this.
You're
I really like that.
Tale.
A cautionary tale.
But also, like, I think it's important that all these people that are kind of singling out for this stuff, they're all friends.
Yeah.
There's no malice there.
Yeah.
There's no, like, it's good.
Actually, it's interesting. The people who do tend to call me out are actually some of the people who know the most. But yeah, that was really good fun. So one thing though, so Talis Ashbourne had in the previous season, I had venomed myself.
Yes.
Now there's a cure for venom. I meant to actually cure myself during the course of this event.
Yeah.
Time kind of got a little bit away from me, and I forgot to actually do it.
How very unvigilant of you.
Very unvigilant of me. But I was toying with it anyway, and I was kind of like, do I unvenom myself?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
I think maybe time has been served now, and the point has been made. But I'd forgotten at this stage to do it, or I hadn't got my head around exactly. In truth, I hadn't decided what I was going to do. Anyway, Bramble, who I was going to be running in the buddy system with the Navarches, asked me if I was still venomed. I didn't want her to worry, so I said that I wasn't.
Don't worry about it.
So I said, don't worry about it. I sorted myself out this morning, I said. Sorry, Bramble. Sorry, Bram. Massive lie. You were running around with a person who had 30 seconds to live. But I will try and get myself done for next summit. But that was fun. It was really fun to head down towards the gate. Did you have anything going before the battle?
I have got into a habit now of me and Agni, my scribe.
Yeah.
We kind of just bops around as a independent senatorial unit.
I love it. I love your dynamic.
We basically G up the troops a little bit, give them a bit of chat, go and meet a few familiar faces, find out what's going on. Oh, I also want to mention our general, the Hammer.
The Hammer of Navarr.
She's a fucking badass.
Absolute badass.
Fucking legit.
Thrust into the complete, bear in mind, last season, Brenos leaves us, right, essentially. We've lost everyone, pretty much apart from Caro, and now Caro's gone, with experience. Mm-hmm. She's thrust into a leadership position, gets us through a very difficult battle last event, which was pretty chaotic. Going into this event, again, is basically leading us out. Fucking hell, it's so impressive, because there's a lot to take on. I mean, it's big boots to fill.
I mean, she's just over 5 foot. She has a giant
fucking hammer.
Fucking giant hammer. And,
baller attitude, right?
Yeah, she's, just...
Fucking yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Massive fan.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And I think she, if I don't mention it later, did an absolute superb job in trying to wrangle Navarr, which is a lot like herding cats.
The reality is we're a very big nation now. And that commits you just through the fact of you being a certain size. It gives you certain presence on the field that means you have to do things which now...
what's nice is that there are unit blocks.
Yeah.
So it makes it a bit easier for a commander to be entwine paths.
Dread shields.
Go here. Dread shields go here.
Pathfinders, all these different groups, right? Waystone.
Yeah. So I think Black Scar were hired out.
So they're with the Imperial Orcs.
Oh, they are. They're with the Imperial Orcs.
They're with the Imperial Orcs, and but we're actually fighting with them this time.
Yeah.
But essentially, they'll be assisting the Imperial Orcs, which was interesting actually because the Imperial Orcs were supposed to be handling with this meditating orc. So for more on that, probably tune into the Shattersong Diaries. Yeah, because obviously they'll be running that section.
Other podcasts are available.
Yeah, I had very little interaction with that part of the battle, which we'll get to. But that was one of the other objectives.
Yeah,
we
they do the whole G up.
Yeah,
open the fucking gate. I'm right near the gate. Units start moving through. Then Navarr go through. I think we jumped the gun. Well,
it was interesting because before the battle, Silver and Echo, who are now obviously in charge of the Navarchers, they lead us down, and they've done all their research. They've crossed all their T's and dotted all their I's before the battle. Mm-hmm. What was really fun was I'm taking a full step back at this stage, and they go off. They're like, we're going to go and talk and finalise the strategy and then communicate it to you, which was a really nice way of doing things, actually. Mm-hmm. They got us all in a blob. They went away for like a little bit, you could see them just going over exactly what they were going to say. They came back, told us what our instructions were, how we were going to follow those instructions.
Wow, competent leadership.
Yeah, competent leadership. They'd gone and spoken to Georg because we were going to travel with the Pathfinders. But this is one of these examples where a plan does not necessarily survive contact with either the enemy or your ally. Now, we were told that we would be moving and following their banner, the Pathfinder banner. As soon as we got through the gate, we realised that the Pathfinder banner wasn't coming through the gate.
Perfect.
Amazing. So the strategy immediately changed because we were supposed to be basically rallying on this banner at all times. This was fine because Silver and Echo are very good and basically we rejigged everything on the fly. But it was just one of those funny things where like
Mike Tyson once said,
yeah,
everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was fine. We kind of basically start moving through the forest on the left. Mm-hmm. I assume you were with us. In fact, I remember you walking with me.
Yep.
At one stage,
we kind of headed up there. We met kind of like Jotun resistance. We had a big old scrap at that point, didn't we? And that was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was kind of, we were far too many for them to handle moving through the forest. The skirmishes they had through the forest, we just blasted out.
Yeah,
and pushed into the fringes of the forest, while I think the bulk of the Imperial army was swinging around the field.
So I pushed round past Midgate and started moving towards the top gate. And then there was a bit of a kind of... things got pretty hairy there.
Yeah.
Where I think it was Wintermarkers who were defending as orcs.
Yeah.
But there was a pretty fierce fight going on. And that lasted a little bit of time. But me and Agni looked back and saw that middle gate had been secured and they needed more forces to push out of the mid gate to try and move out into the forest area.
Yeah.
So we were like, this is a big line fight here. Let's go and see what's going on over there.
Yeah.
So I walk back and there's a group of like Varushkins and other people and they're standing there and they're holding these big orbs. Like they look like
they've already got the bombs ready.
They've already got eggs, right?
Right.
And I'm going, are they the bombs? And they're like, yeah. And then they were like, hey, don't come close or whatever. And I was just like, I'm a fucking senator. I do whatever the fuck I want all the time.
Right.
And then there were there was some weapons drawn between me and a Varushkin senator.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
And it was all very in good fun, but it was very silly. And then we eventually...
I'm gonna, there's a bunch of points in this battle. Because to be honest with you, this battle was tough at stages.
Yeah.
I'll say that. But I felt like you and me were generally in positions where we were okay most of the times. I remember coming across you a bunch of times and Agni, and you guys would walk up to a position, give a rallying call, and then you'd be like, let's move about 20 feet behind the line, Agni. It was so good. So you'd be like, you must hold here, hold to the last person, leave no one behind. And then you'd be like, right, I think we've done everything we can do there, Agni, let's move on. It was so good.
So we walk through the gate. There's this big line to our left, okay? All the Imperial forces are engaged. We walk round the back of the line, and then I look over into the woods to our right, and I see Callum,
right? Yeah,
and a few other people, and they're sneaking forward and kind of hiding behind trees, and then looking out at us. And I'm like, ugh, Agni, I believe there's Jotun over there. And she was like, There are indeed. And then I tapped someone. I think it was who was it? Someone in lots of armor, maybe you. High guard, maybe. And I go, I'm sorry, excuse me. There appears to be Jotun behind us, right? You wouldn't possibly be able to go and deal with them, would you? And then they're like, yeah. And then they charge off and they go and murder the.
I had this because I was there with you. Like, I was like, I could see you guys because, like, I was busy, like, arrow drawn. Callum's giving me a little fucking dance. As your mates are on. It's like, I'm not going to waste a fucking arrow on you where you just dodge it, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't shoot people who are aware that you're about to shoot them.
No.
It was so funny. I got a bunch of spice from the Reapers all the way through the battle. It was so much fun.
So, I basically go around, I empower a few people.
You were great. I loved your dynamic with Agni. It was so much fun.
We just bopped around a lot.
Yeah. You are actually genuinely inspiring. The only bit that isn't inspiring about you is as soon as you've been inspiring that you suddenly leave.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where it's like, I'll be right behind you, and then somebody leaves forward, exactly 20 miles behind you.
We'll get to that. But, like, so we head through the forest.
Yeah.
Battling ensues. I get stuck in a little bit. We start to push them back.
You are pretty actually badass at the moment, right? You've got a bunch of stuff.
I have now upgraded because I've been saving all my points up. This battle.
Okay,
yeah. I'm still had lots of stuff going on,
right?
But lots more now.
You're actually
I'm a Swiss Army bloody wizard. So yeah. So we push forward, we start heading back, and there's like a fort area.
Yes, the fort got very spicy.
A very big fight happening at the fort.
Yes.
And then me and Agni look at the fort and go, well, that doesn't look very nice.
Yeah.
Let's keep on going. So we carried on going till we found this like little clearing, and that was where the objective was.
Yeah.
By complete chance. There wasn't like we got there.
So I pushed around with the Dread Shields and with Win. So me and Bram basically... Bramble, by the way, can I just say, was on absolute fire. It was one of these things where it was just like... I'd turn up, I'd be like ready to take a shot and be like... Boom, someone's legs go out. I'm like, all right then. Or we'll chalk that one off as yours. And every time I felt like I got to a position, it'd be like this little doink, an arrow would come in. And then Bram would run up to me afterwards and be like... I got one in the legs. And it's like, I saw, don't you worry about it. Like, I'm being very ineffectual here. It was amazing.
I feel a bit bad for Jotun, because proper Jotun don't use bows.
Yeah.
Which basically means that when there's ever a standoff, archers kind of stand behind the line and just devastate, like, lines.
Kind of. It's more difficult than you'd think, actually, because the problem is, it's great if we're advancing. Right, because there's no arrows coming back.
Yeah.
So this was one of the things that we'd had a chat about before the battle, that we only are kind of shooting when we're gaining ground. Like, we shoot as part of a push. Obviously, sometimes you don't have the choice, because you have to hold people off, or you have to threaten. But often it's about the idea of moving, retrieving arrows as you're going, and basically using it as an added push to the thrust that we're pushing forward. Because what we can do is when the line moves forward, we can take the person or the couple of people out to then help the advance roll over.
I remember it being quite chaotic.
It was chaotic in a bunch of stages.
There were a lot of monster respawns, a lot of units moving around, a lot of hard fights here and there, and then suddenly you'd find space and be able to walk through it.
So we were holding, because I was with you for a fair bit.
Are you talking about the objective bit?
The bit we got to the objective.
So we get to the objective, and
there's not very many of us.
There's very few.
I would say 30. And that's being generous.
There's a smattering of Varushkans, a lot of Navarr,
but it's not necessarily the heavy stuff that you would want.
No.
Right? It's a lot of skirmish forces.
And very lightly... Like, the line isn't full.
Yes.
There's lots of gaps. And the bombs come through at one stage.
Yeah,
and they start getting
a couple in.
2 bombs off.
Yeah.
And then I'm talking to, I think it was the Hammer, and I was like, do you need a runner? And
because I was with you when that happened.
And she was like, I do, we need reinforcements. So I ran off towards where the fort area was, and then realised we had been cut off.
Yes, we had.
And we were completely isolated. So I ran back and I was just like, we've been cut off. There's no reinforcements coming. We've got to hold. And that's when I start doing your rally. My rally to the troops.
Great. You were actually really great because there was a bit where we were probably outnumbered about 2-1. And they were like basically Silver moved us all round to one section of the flank, and we just basically all threatened. Because one thing you can do with arrows is you can threaten, you can draw and not actually shoot, and that will give people pause.
So there was a bit to our right,
yes,
and then there was a long bit to our front that wasn't really that full, and we could see in the distance, like behind a few trees, maybe 50 yards away, the Jotun forming to do a thing, and I was like looking at them, I was just like, if they decide to come through and punch our front, we're gonna get fucking mullered. So that's when I started going like,
it was very
your
spicy.
oath that you've made. Now is the time to do it. Like,
honestly, it was a stage where it was like you, the Hammer, will win 20 people and some Navarchers, and if they'd moved on us, we were done.
Yeah,
we were donezoed. But like your like speech and like just being able to put like a bit of stand, because they charged us at one point.
Well, and the bit to the right was.
Well, I immediately went round to the right.
Very hard fought.
Yeah. That was really tough. We basically go around to the right, me and Bram. And then Bram has to end up going back. I tell her to go back to the centre because you guys are getting hit, because we've kind of basically got it to the stage where it's turned into like a little bit of a wild melee of just like ones and twos on the right. It was one of those situations where luck was the only thing that won the day.
Well, there was also like, we're yelling at each other, like the Jotun, and I'm trying to bait one of them to come forward, and all this stuff.
It's all that stuff. It's interesting, isn't it? How you get these stages in battles where it's like, you're trying to almost pull people out of position so they can get killed, so you can get that slight numbers advantage.
Yeah, so you can make a
and it's little ones and twos, right?
Well, at this stage, it's just trying to, because we were so light.
Yeah, I don't think they realised, like, behind us was nothing.
No.
Absolutely nothing.
And, like, if they'd really... So I'm fighting in the line, and we're having a bit of a ding-dong, and then come screaming around the outside of the line is fucking Callum. And he charges straight at me, gets hit, like... takes the hits, but like just keeps on going towards me and just goes, cleave on my legs. And I go down, he falls on top of me, and then there's this kind of moment of like people falling over each other and stuff. And Callum, bless his heart, he does this thing where he puts his arm over the top of me and uses his body to protect me.
Oh,
he's such a sweetheart. He was like,
he's trying to get you killed so you can respawn in the league, but at the same time, he doesn't want you to get
100%. Yeah. This is now the Reaper's new hobby is to try and kill Gellert. So then,
so good.
There's a bit of I think Callum rolls off me. I stand up and I look around. I suddenly realise that there's been a man down called.
Yes,
I'm the man down.
Oh, really?
And everyone is kneeling, and I'm standing there like Jesus giving a fucking sermon. And I just go, "Don't worry, everyone, I'm alive." And they're like, "Great!" And everyone kind of like reforms up again. I have what's the thing where
relentless?
Relentless. So I have relentless now because of my armor.
Yeah.
So I relentless myself. But it was a really nice thing, really, really nice and safe.
So good.
It's obviously fun in games until the Reapers actually kill me, but it was really funny watching them trying to stalk me and murder me.
It's an interesting, like, when you're fighting against people you know, like, it's interesting, right?
Yeah. I think, I don't know, like, I think it's like, it's fun them trying to kill me. If they actually killed me, and I felt like it is a different thing, but it's fun that, also, I move a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very hard to track down, right?
You're really tough to kill. Because the thing is, I think this is what I learned when I was battle maging. We'll come to this tomorrow, but like battle maging gives you a lot of freedom to engage and disengage and sort of choose your points on the battle a lot more easily.
Well,
because you're trying to be impactful, right?
You have to be constantly mindful of archers and cleaves.
Yeah,
they will kill you dead.
Yeah, because you've got none of the protections.
If none of the protections of any of that stuff.
But you can also be very impactful. Right?
However, choosing the right time to go forward and unleash a bit of magic is exactly what it's about.
Literally swing things. Yeah. Like you can be really influential. You were fantastic. Like genuinely, like I'm going to take the piss out of you for some of the abject cowardice.
What?
Some of the abject cowardice that was on display. But genuinely speaking, like as a friend, when you were G'ing people up, like there was points. I mean, I think we both felt it, where it was like, holy shit, if they move on our position right now. I was a bit where I looked at you and I was like...
Well, we all knew it.
We all knew it, right? And you were like literally telling people like, we stand and we fight and we die, like here.
Yeah.
Like there's nowhere to run to. Yeah. We literally had nowhere to go, apart from the place where there were bombs.
Well, you say that.
Yeah.
But, so Agni goes, Mr. Senator,
yeah,
we should maybe think about an escape plan. And I go, very wise, Agni.
That's amazing.
Maybe let's go and check over there. So while this battle's raging around us,
oh my god,
me and her
walk so much.
I'm whistling like do 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 do, and like walk past this ref, and this ref is looking at us like, "What are you guys doing?" And then we find this little like path in the back, and
son of a bitch.
And we walk around there and look at it, and I go, "Yes, Agni, I think this will do." And Agni's like, "The Empire needs you," and I'm like, "You're completely correct, Agni. If they break through, charge at them and try and get as many of their weapons stuck in you as you can, so I can escape." Okay, and she's like, "It's really funny."
I love the RP. Or genuinely, like the RP you guys have is. I'm absolutely here for it. Just the spirit of it is so good.
It's fun. But then we come back and there's like both flanks are being pushed, and I'm like, let's go back and be brave for another 5 minutes.
Yeah, tops.
And then we can get out. And then the Imperial forces eventually break through.
Yeah, and hit them on the flank, I think, and basically we crush
Imperial Orcs came through, and another nation, I can't remember who it was, but they came through and basically just dicked on the fucking forces that we were fighting.
Because bear in mind, we're talking about like, we're like 20, 30 people, they're like 50 people.
Yeah.
So it's actually quite small numbers in the grand schemes of things, and suddenly a little bit of maneuver and a little bit of aggression.
It felt like the whole Imperial army showed up at that stage, didn't it? And it really was like the Alamo, but not that we all died, we survived.
Yeah.
But like we made it, and then Imperial forces start coming through. Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
The end of Saving Private Ryan.
But the funny thing is, because this whole period of like, as I say, us like 20, 30 people, then 50 people, kind of went on for quite a while.
Yeah.
We were and there were little
for
breaks.
A long time.
There were little breaks in between, because they'd press us, we'd push them back, they'd kind of reform a little bit. There's the healing game. Often a lot of this stuff comes down to like almost a battle of attrition on healing.
It's always
resources.
a battle of attrition, yeah.
So there's lots of periods to walk around and think about things like hydration and snacking.
Yes,
now, I like to send people off with battle snacks.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of battle snacks.
I'm a huge convert to battle snacks.
So I hand everybody out before we go battle snacks.
Yeah.
And I take a couple of battle snacks with me. Yeah. And I'm walking around making sure that the heroes of the Empire are well snacked up and hydrated.
Yeah.
I'm walking around handing things out to sort of snap a bit off this bit of Rice Krispie square and get yourself some energy back. Walking along, and it's like I'm going around offering it to everybody, and I turn around, and the person who's immediately there as I'm holding this broken off, very crappy bit looking Rice Krispie cake is Yolona, and she says to me, "Is this really the time to be offering out a tasty biscuit, Talis Ashbourne?" And it was so peak. Yes. It was so peak, because I suddenly was like, no, I'm bad.
So I had the other way. Agni had pocket sausage, and we would regularly stop and have pocket sausage.
Oh, it was so good.
The Rice Krispie square was very good. We split that off in half. We wanted to have a picnic, But unfortunately,
the Jotun interfered.
there was just too much
many
fighting
Jotun
on the battlefield.
Outrageous.
But then, so the Imperial forces come and basically break the lines, and then bombs just start appearing, don't they?
Fucking hell.
There
Was
was
possession of them.
At first, there was like a couple more bombs came through.
Yeah, so we got it to 5. So 5 was the objective. We needed at least 5 bombs.
And then I think what happened was the heralds who were making the bombs were like, "You're doing such a good job.
Yeah.
Here's all the rest of the bombs."
Yeah.
And then we got like 10 bombs there, right?
We dropped 10 bombs off. There was there was discussion whether it was 9 or 10. I think it was confirmed.
I think
10
it
bombs.
was 10. We counted them in. I think it was 10.
And it was so good. Like, what a great... Because the battle was so... there was so much to it, and there were so many considerations. Like these bombs had a whole different dynamic to it, and the way that everyone was treating them. The people who were holding them were like, kid gloves.
Yeah.
And they had little honor guards.
Well, they had honor guards with them because there are a lot
one
of chaos.
arrow or one touch.
Also,
would be enough.
chaos monkeys would have made all of that really bad.
Yeah. Anybody running forward for a bit of random.
But yeah, dropped off all the bombs. Then they were like, "Hey, it's 10 minutes before the bombs go off." And there's the classic line of, "Is this a Tallis we have 10 minutes to leave, or an actual 10 minutes to leave?" Which I really appreciated at the time.
It was so it's
good.
fun.
It's so fucking funny,
fun, right?
It's so fucking funny,
and I'm totally here for it. I'll be honest with you,
a Tallis retreat has become a real thing now.
Yeah. And I think, it's so juicy because I know the truth as well.
But yeah, and then the bomb went off about 2-3 minutes later, didn't it?
Oh, and you had that whole thing of all people don't look at explosions. I looked at explosions.
I always look at explosions. I'm not cool.
I don't know. I don't have any shame in looking at explosions.
I'm not cool.
The pyro people looked so happy for themselves.
Yeah, they looked well chuffed, didn't they?
It was like it was one of those things where like boom. I looked around and it was just like smoke and stuff. It's great. It's such a cool, fun thing. I love this, by the way, PD. These kind of dynamic battle objectives. These kind of things where it feels
so much better.
Like things where we're not just
find the person, kill the person. Is like, it's a bit like that battle felt, and the other one as well felt like, when you're playing with a D&D and the DM really cares, and is like, are we gonna kill a bunch of goblins again? No, this has cool other things to think about and things
little
to
mechanics,
do.
Little extras like that. The idea of the bombs. I mean, you couldn't do it obviously every battle, but it was so good for this battle.
But I think
as a
so
one-off,
good.
it was amazing, and it really felt good. like having the thing is, I think it's all the things. The sensory thing of hearing the bomb go off and knowing that the mountain pass was broken and that we did the thing.
Yep.
What a payoff! Like everyone cheered as it went off. And we kind of marched off in success. It was a wonderful feeling going through the gate.
One important thing as we're leaving, I see Highguard walking past.
Right.
And I see Siggy, the person responsible for the blood games.
Right.
So I sneak up behind him and put my weapon round him and I go, "Blood games!"
Amazing.
And just
let them know what's up.
Just to get one back on the scoreboard,
Yeah.
Which was very enjoyable.
Good.
Yes.
Let them know.
It's
not just one-way traffic.
It's just not one-way traffic, yeah.
When
I deem to, I can touch you whenever I want.
All must be vigilant.
But we head off, head back, it's really sweet. We did all the objective, by the way.
Yes, I full report was great, like full success. Though, so we're all doing we're all having a cracking time, right? We're kind of doing the Navarch's debrief, all that stuff. It's been fantastic. Echo, Silver done amazing. The different strike teams, Navarch's were super effective. I think they got a commendation. Amazing.
Oh, by the way, I want a commendation now.
Yeah.
I want a commendation now.
Well, you're going to have to actually fight for that.
What do you mean?
Well, anyway, we'll get there. But then Farron comes up to me and he's completely covered in blood, right? And he's talking about he was at the fort with the orcs and they lost one. And Tallis and Farron go pretty far back, and there's the lore at this stage is pretty steeped. Like, the emotions are pretty raw. And it was one of those things where it's like, I'm dealing with him, like, post-battle, like, you know, the RP that Soul brings is always top tier, right? And I feel like we have the connection between the characters is really good.
Okay, context.
Yeah. In the sense of just the amount of time we've been playing together and the amount of losses we've both experienced. There's a lot of survivor's guilt, I think, that comes in both characters. We're unified by Ifan in a lot of ways, but it goes further than that. Like, we've both lost a lot of members, and we're constantly the people who are left, and constantly the people who have to remember. And him especially, he's really lost a lot of people. It was awesome RP. He kind of came up to me and he was like, talking about how like thorns bleed and no one answers and all this kind of stuff. It was fucking great RP. Talus was like, because Black Scar have been murking obviously, and this puts it in an interesting context because a lot of people in Navarr's in a difficult spot, and a lot of people in Navarr are like, is now a good time for Black Scar to be murking? And this is an important question. Because Black Scar are a pretty formidable part of our force, reliable, hardcore elite fighters that we rely on.
It says a lot when they didn't fight with us last time.
Yeah,
it's a big part of our.
They're very, very impactful on the field. They're very well recognised, and I'm not trying to blow too much smoke up their arse, but the reality is they deserve a lot of it. They put the work in, and they are good at what they do. They lose people. This is Talus's opinion. This is Ian's opinion. But, so it was one of those things of like, I can't fix a lot of this, but Talus genuinely cares. So I'm like, I need to do what little I can with my resources. I am a poor person who basically can never hold on to more than a crown at a time. What I do have is a fairly fat stack of herbs.
Fat stack.
So, one of the things I do post this is basically I write a letter to Black Scar and basically brew up a whole bunch of sovereign specifics and drop them off with the letter and take them over to Black Scar and basically hand them off there with some of the fizz reps that I've made for the potions. It was a really, like, it felt, I told you a little bit that I was doing it. I don't think I told you quite how many resources I spent on it. But fuck it. I genuinely, like, it was just characterful. It was just like, Talus cares. They're his resources. And
our.
Yeah, well, not anymore, they're not.
Our resources.
Well, not anymore. The stack's reduced. And, no, it was nice. It was so good, because I wrote this kind of letter, and the basic gist of it, like, you know, a fall may bleed, but that doesn't mean they need to fall. And may these sort of help you, you know, stand or something. I can't remember exactly how I wrote it, but like, you know, stand in such times. And it was a little longer letter than that. But it was really nice to basically go and like do a gesture like that. But RP with Soul, RP with Farron is always top tier. Massive props, Soul. The Talus Soul, the Talus Farron stuff is really interesting. We had a chat about it afterwards. It was like, whichever one of us goes first, the other person is going to be fucking destroyed. Like, I hope it's not, like, it's, like, if he goes before I do, we'll be devastated.
After the battle,
yeah,
quick rehydrate,
yeah,
quick get some food down,
yeah,
and then so I get back,
yeah,
and there's like this fella from the Brass Coast there,
right,
and he's like, you have been invited as a guest of honour to a theatre display.
Amazing.
And I was like, okay, cool. Who's buying? And they went, well, I think that they probably, I don't know. They didn't say whether they should mention them or not, but I feel like it wouldn't be good for me to say. And I was like, oh, fine. I felt pretty special at this point, right?
Amazing. I'm so pleased.
And they were like, confirm whether it was going to be the 9 o'clock or the 10 o'clock. So it was Agni's birthday. So Keys was going to go off and be my proxy for the evening one. So I was like, so we arranged it. Said like 9 o'clock.
This is for the evening Senate motions, right?
Yeah. But in the meantime, I decided that I was going to help the ambassador with their Senate motion. I slept on it and was like, this is a really good use of my motion. I'm going to support them.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing to say, actually, before we get into it. Like, you delegate like one of the Senate things to your proxy, right? And I think you try and do that every summit.
I am now.
And I think that's a good way, not only for you to break up the game, but I think it's also good for the proxy, say, if you have died on the battlefield.
Yeah, it's good experience, but it's also like, you can't do every single one. It's not what I want from Empire, is to be there every single time to do it. It's like, it's spreading it out. It's good. It gives me a chance to relax. And
it gives Bung a chance to engage with the game as well, right?
So basically, I spoke to the ambassador and I was like, I'm game. And then we talked about wording. Basically, the Senate session is at 4. I needed to get my Senate motion in at 2.
Yeah.
So we went to the Imperial offices and spoke to the lady that was in charge of some of the Senate stuff, and she had a list of who's used their motions and who's used their seconds and who's left.
Yeah.
So there's a few people that I know who are senators. I was like, okay, cool, I can go and hit these people up. We headed round Urizen, and I found the senator for Zenith.
Right.
And I basically was like, this is the motion. Can I get your second? And I said, like, first of all, I was like, you hate slavery like everyone else. He goes, don't give me the fucking hard sell. What do you want? And I was like...
Amazing. Respect it.
I massive respected it. And then it was like, this is what I want. And he was like, yeah, you got it. You got my second. I was like, sweet. So I went off, did the thing. Bung had got the wording down correctly, because I said to him in the morning, like, see if you can find out the wording on it, and because the wording's very important.
Yeah.
And check with the civil service to make sure that the wording's correct. And basically what my motion was, the Iron Confederacy, who are a slaving nation, have recently made slavery illegal.
Interesting. I didn't know
There is some caveats to that, where there is still reduced movement of people, but that's mainly for food, from what the Iron Confederacy said anyway. But I went to Senate. My feeling on it is, like, we can talk all day long about ending slavery. This is actually, we need to put our money where our mouth is and stop the sanctions on the Iron Confederacy. And
carrot, not stick.
A carrot, not stick. We're all stick in the Empire. Let's have some fucking carrot, right? We were slavers 2 generations ago. It's time to start fucking giving people the easy way out rather than just giving them hard choices. So I put the motion through, called the ambassador as my... Zenith guy was like, what does the ambassador say about this? And I'm like, I'm doing this for him. It was like, that's what made him actually sign up for it.
Amazing.
Because you got to respect the
you've got to check in with the experts, right?
Exactly. So I called him as an expert witness. I gave a bit of a spiel about how this is a good thing, that we need to do this. And then I fired off questions to him, had some questions from the floor. Like, one person wasn't very happy with it, but then when it came down to a vote, it passed by landslide.
Amazing.
And I was like, fucking chuffed, dude. Like,
this is the first motion you've put in that has succeeded, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And it was like, and it did a thing. Yeah. And it has...
You had effect. And it's partly towards the game that you had been engaging
100% is something that I'm actually interested in.
Yeah.
And it's something that I believe in. So it was really, really nice to get the Senate motion through. I once again went to Senate needing to go to the loo again. And it was...
We're going to have to get you a catheter or something.
Mate, I need an adult diaper or something. So Agni comes in the back, takes my cup and fills it for me. Then
that sounds dangerous.
Hands me a brownie.
Right.
I eat the brownie, and then she bought a little parasol, like a tiny little diddy one.
Yeah.
And then I went like, a parasol, and she hands me the parasol, and I lift it up, and I'm holding it.
Of course, then it's got no roof, right?
It's got no roof, dude. It's literally like
pretty hot that day as well. Actually,
fuck, dude. You're either standing there under the beating fucking sun,
or
you're getting fucking rained on. Okay, like Friday night, I got fucking drenched. Sunday, fucking drenched, and you're standing there in like
because MC has a fucking
rain.
Roof on it, right?
Yeah, dude, it's a tent. Like like
it's weird.
The Senate building and the forge.
Yeah,
I think it's safe to say both of those structures are. I wouldn't say are in the best condition at this stage. They are. Like
it sucks. It does suck to say, but it needs something.
Rickety as hell. The Senate would be nice if it had like a roof. Would be really fucking nice.
I think it's actually important, to be honest with you. I mean,
especially when you're stuck there for like over
the heat
an hour.
is a real issue.
And also,
because can you take? Is there like water givers and stuff on the?
No.
Because that's a lot. Anyway,
yeah, it'd be nice if there was like a jug there with water, or
if they're not going to have a fucking roof on it.
Yeah, but that's why you have good proxies who go and help you out.
Good for bums.
So, or like a water source there would be nice, like a big jug full of water that people could help themselves to during Senate would be nice.
As a question, like logistically, if you go to the loo, are you not allowed back in again?
That's my understanding. Yeah,
that seems kind of troubling.
Well, I think you can swap out for your proxy if your proxy's there, but like it's an hour.
Yeah,
it's meant to be an hour.
Sure.
It usually runs over.
Yeah,
but like, and to be fair, like the Senate has so many fucking motions to go through.
Yeah,
and let's face it. You don't really want to rush these.
Yeah, they're important decisions.
They're really important decisions.
And it's important to say, actually, a lot of players before you have put a lot of effort into making sure that the arguments even come to you in a lot of instances, right? Like for example, the ambassador who's spoken to you, that's a large part of their game.
And also,
just to get it to you.
He's worked his ass off to get to that point, right? Like...
So you're looking at like multiple hours of play to get to where you are.
A year.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm the final hurdle to get through, which is to support the motion, put my motion in and then get it through. But the real hard work goes down to the ambassador and all the efforts that they've been putting in. And obviously it's fucking working.
Yeah.
Like I've always been under the impression that it's like because of the Liberty Pact, we're potentially looking at a massive fucking war that will stretch across the globe. And my role as ambassador to Yarm was to try and buy us time or buy us, or try and get them to think about changing their tact. Now, they have put a few changes into the ambassadorial game, which I'm not sure I've talked about before.
It changed basically after you left, which is unfortunate.
Straight after I left, which is a pain in the ass, but hey, what are you going to do? So you no longer need to pay for the Wing Messenger, so you're not taxed for resources every time, which is really good. You also can write the letter when you get off-site.
Yes.
Which is fucking huge.
Yeah.
My ability to send messages, like... I can only imagine what it was like from PD's point of view, the letters that I sent, because they were rushed, panicked, fucking trying to get stuff on a piece of paper. And now you can go home, sit down, look at the fucking wiki.
Cup of tea. It makes a lot more sense as well, because if you think about it logistically, there's no reason. No. Like, it's a moment in time, Anvil. It's not actually...
But, and the point was, like, if you're waiting for something to be and Senate goes right up until timeout on Sunday.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're an ambassador and you're trying to wait for something to happen, we had seconds. Like how many times did I have seconds before timeout? So I really like the changes that they've made to that. sucks. I'm not an ambassador anymore to
Isn't
enjoy
there
them.
a thing where you have a direct correspondence with somebody as well?
You have a contact, who is your main go-between.
Yeah, but you can actually send messages to them and they will respond.
They don't respond. I never received a
But isn't
message.
that the change now that they may respond?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know either.
That would be fucking great. Like,
I think that's what you
one of the things I really wanted
from the game was to have somebody in Yarm who you spoke with.
Not just the diplomatic report, but a letter.
Yeah.
So I could actually understand the person I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time when you received a Senate, the diplomatic correspondence, it would be something that people already knew about.
Yeah.
Like, and you want that thing because that's your thing.
Yeah.
To be kind of special, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you want it to be like, oh, this is me building a relationship with my counterpart, or understanding what are their needs and wants.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about before with, like, when it comes to Yarm, I sent an email to PD that was basically like, slavery, why?
Yeah.
Okay, like, why is Yarm a slave nation? Is it economic? Is it racist? Is it, like, tell me why.
The history behind why.
And then I can understand how to start to take it apart or change things.
Yeah.
And that really wasn't something I got back as a response. Now, like,
it seems like it's improved a fair bit.
It has. I still feel like PD are quaking under the amount of new players that they're receiving. I think, like, there's not enough.
Is it like plot team essentially? Or?
No, I think plot team work their asses off.
Like, but I mean, is there not enough of them as well?
No, but there's, like, I think there needs to be more. Like, there are different aspects of what Senate can do, and I only know Senate stuff really and the ambassadorial game, but the amount of hats and the amount of game isn't scaling up to the amount of players. So if you were running Empire with 1,500 players, that's, a few hundred each nation. There'll be a lot more accessibility to change and interact with the world. Now we've got 3,000 players. That has become, like, I don't have that much direct interaction with any plot necessarily, but I have effect on the game and I have a hat and all that stuff, right? But I think that's changing, but I think it's like these things need to get made. I know there's, like, certain things like the Orcs and the League have things where they have build slots and they can build slots, but I don't know whether they were Imperial and then became national. Like, I think from my point of view, this kind of let the markets decide stuff isn't necessarily how I would run a game. Now, it's not necessarily I'm saying I'm right or wrong, it's just my feeling on it. I feel like there should be some more interaction with the economy and all that stuff, but at the same time, I kind of respect it. Like, it's one of those things where I'm
I get it. Like, the thing is that there's a certain reality of people turn up to Empire for different things.
Yeah.
For example, you and me actually play in a very different way.
Yeah. We're big. We like narrative.
We do, but we even we who like narrative play in very different pools to each other.
True.
And like, I have no concept of any of the stuff that you really express in terms of broader plot and interaction with plot and interaction with NPCs and all that kind of stuff. I have no interaction with it at all. All the stuff that I do is derived from pure player-to-player interaction, really.
And I think there's, like, some people... I know there are some players that have, like, multiple encounters during one summit. Yeah. And I haven't had one encounter in the year and a half I've had a hat, right? Yeah. I'm not saying I should do, but I think that, like, it'll be... I know what they do is the way that PD tend to do stuff. This is the problem. Like, having... If you put stuff in your player notes when you're making your character, I'm interested in X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
That's the way that information is communicated to PD.
Is that actually how it is? Because I don't know how it works.
I think that's how it works.
Yeah.
Whereas I would like to see more like egregore type roles that are giving much more feedback in a much more direct and dynamic way. Like how often do you... And bear in mind, I think our egregores are fucking awesome, by the way.
Dude, we've got great ones in Navarr.
Our nation's fucking massive.
Yeah.
So, trying to filter that information... Basically, the game's fucking huge.
Yeah.
And there's...
It's difficult, mine, to really trench, because you've got this whole thing of, like... ultimately, people are gonna nerd on the statistics, and there's nothing wrong with that, and that's a big part of how people want to play. Yeah. You're also gonna have people who want to.
Don't get me wrong. I think there's room for everyone. I just think it's like, and for how everyone approaches the game. But I feel like, I don't know, and I think this is a problem generally in LARPs, that feedback to game runners is difficult to do. It's very
especially dynamically within an event.
Yeah.
Once the event's running, it's very hard to get that feedback and react dynamically to it.
Right. So Northern Kingdoms is a good example of this, where we write our downtime, and this is totally not what Empire could do because it's too big.
Yeah.
But with so everyone writes their downtime. You write your objectives for your downtime, and then you write a narrative of what you would like to happen during your downtime. The plot team go off, they come up with stuff, and then that stuff either has an outcome, or it can lead to encounters or other things.
Yeah.
Which means that, like, that's one of the reasons why I love Northern Kingdom so much, is because my story as my character directly interacts with the game, and then things will happen during the game that are surprising because it's related to my character.
Well, I'll tell you an example of this that sort of is more Empire specific, is the whole thing with the trip into Pekeliand and military units. And
I'm
still salty about it.
You're really salty about that.
But no, I think there is that whole thing of, like, ultimately, if you're a fleet holder or a military unit holder, you get a little drop-down box where you can interact with the world. If you're me and you've got a herb garden, you don't get any of that.
No.
And I think, like, I get it.
But from PD's point of view, I get it as well. Like, trying to telegraph the change. Now, I know you emailed PD and got basically a
hard no.
A hard no. Feel free to...
and role-playing advice.
Yeah, and it's like... yeah, I think... But, like, I don't know.
No, I get it. No, I do get it.
Empire's in a really interesting position where they're breaking new ground.
Yes.
And they're fucking enormous. They're on a site that had 1,500 people. Now we have 3,000 people.
Yeah.
The roads are kind of falling apart because of the amount of traffic on there. The toilet crew are working doubly hard because there's double the amount of people pooping. The plot crew...
are incredible, right? Like, the amount... They're writing like a novel every single event.
It's a giant amount of work that's going into it. And when you read the Winds of War and you're interacting with stuff, and for understand these, like, bespoke encounters or all that stuff, they're fucking baller.
Yeah.
They're fucking great.
Yeah. I was speaking to Lanius.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going on some encounter where I'm engaging with, like, a bunch of shark men or something.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you go for it, dude.
Yeah.
Like, this sounds fucking amazing. And it's just like, this. I think this is like the... You know, you get people like that and they're doing a bunch of this stuff a whole bunch of the time. They pursue a bunch of that kind of game.
Now, bear in mind, I'm very much aware that maybe I'm interacting with the game incorrectly.
Yes, I think there's elements of that.
And maybe there would be a nice way of having it... And bear in mind, I'm probably describing something that's on the wiki.
Yeah.
But the wiki's fucking enormous, right? Like, and when there's a rules change, like, trying to keep up with all the rules change and everything else, it's like...
A lot of this is also, like, bear in mind, we've come into a game, and we would be considered people who've been playing the game for quite a while now.
Yeah,
but we've come into
2018.
we've come into the game mid rounds, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who have a lot more knowledge and are used to things that
Yeah.
have existed before us and maybe understand a lot of the things behind the scene, or think at least they understand the things behind the scene a lot
Yeah.
better than we do.
Yeah.
So we are certainly not the
So-
source of information on a lot of this
I
stuff.
would be really curious to see how, because I know people that do have encounters and they have regular encounters.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't something that they're like they'll have a couple. Some people have a couple event, right?
Yeah. Or it seems that way at least.
No, some of them do.
Right.
And it's like, I'll be really curious to find out like what those levers are that you have to pull in order to get above this the
Parapet of where it is.
the
right?
parapet of, and be interacting directly with the stuff that you really care about and are trying to push forward as an agenda. I certainly didn't do that as ambassador.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't do that.
I think you can often feel stymied in a bunch of different ways. I was speaking to somebody who's got, I won't name them, but like has like a position that deals with a bunch of stuff like this. And like it's similar to the ambassadorial game. It's just the way that these things are communicated, and you're not always sure when you're asking questions that are butting up against hard lines. And you can waste a lot of time asking questions essentially which are fruitless, and you're just basically kind of almost after OC information that says there is no more down this chain of thought.
Yeah, I think
do this thing. It's very hard to do.
It's the DMing no but or no and.
Yeah.
Right? Like if someone is interacting wrong but you get the impression that they want to go into something, having a way of communicating how to do that would be a good thing.
I've no idea, by the way, because you and me have never even come close to running something on this kind of scale. Or
hell no, dude.
It's a ridiculous task.
Dude, I'm like, it's like listening to fucking a band you really, really like, and then saying, oh, that last album wasn't as good as the one before
Yes,
that.
exactly, right.
And I'm like, I can't play a guitar, I don't know how to fucking sing, I don't know how to get a record
I don't know what
out.
I'm talking about.
I don't have any clue what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But bear in mind, I know a couple of the crew, or I've had an interaction with a couple of crew. PD really care.
Yes.
Like, there's a few people that, like, they genuinely want people to have a good time.
Yeah.
And it must be so hard to be, because their workload must be fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You're wrangling an awful lot of volunteers, not many paid members of staff, and you're doing this giant thing 4 times a year.
Yeah.
Now, I'm really curious to see what the plan is for potentially a new site and how PD are going to change like some of the way they run things, either through monetization, staff, renting out a site, being a LARP
host almost.
host,
Yeah.
yes, and like offering so you can get like regular revenue through,
potentially even an experienced host as well. It might not even just be restricted to purely LARPs as well. Who knows?
I think from the looks of things, I think they probably need to concentrate on Empire, and run a site.
Yeah.
So, but who knows? Fuck knows.
Yeah.
There's
all
gonna
of this is logistically way beyond my skill level.
This is all very much on the outside looking in. Like, we have no idea. So, anyway, we got fucking
sidetracked. It's an interesting topic, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got, while you were doing a lot of that stuff, of course, I got ready for the
Oh
fashion
my
show.
god! Now for something completely.
This
different.
is literally for something completely different. So, last year we ran the Navarr fashion show, and it was basically strictly for people from Navarr to do a fashion show, stock their stuff, run by the wonderful Hazel, who plays Demelza, and myself. We co-hosted it. It was a fucking phenomenal success. Had an incredible time.
I saw a few pictures.
We decided we'd do it again, and this time it would be the international edition, and we would invite people from other nations to participate. Wowza! So we brought Ricardo, who's played by Obi, into the fold. We really needed that third person. Massive thanks, Obi, by the way. And I had by far, by the way, the easiest job, which was basically looking after the crowd, providing beverages, food, just making sure everyone was fine, walking around, pass bubbles out to everybody before we began. A lot of tallising about. They had the hard job of Demelza was emceeing the whole thing, like announcing people, talking about them as they were walking.
Could you describe?
Yeah.
Is there music?
There's no music, but we had a crowd of, I would say, between 60 to 80 people.
Wow.
We had, it was all that takes place in the market. We've got all the vendors around. We've got, it was big. We had 39 people sign up to participate. Not everybody turned up, but it took place 4:00 on the Saturday. I think it ended up somewhere around 32-ish. I'm sorry if I got the numbers wrong, but all pretty much, we had people from pretty much every nation. The only nation I think we didn't get people from was Wintermark. We've got to crack that Wintermark nut. There's some awesome kit in Wintermark as well, so please, if you're from Wintermark and you want to participate next year, we would gladly have you. Because, some of your kit's baller.
What I liked was, all the photos I've seen...
Yeah.
Big smiling faces.
Fucking hell, it's so good.
A variety of different kit. And it's not like the fanciest kit.
Yeah.
It's like the most Marcher kit.
Yeah. All different blends. It doesn't actually, genuinely, it's you can just come and strut your stuff. That's really all it is. It's a pride festival, essentially. And nice. We run it, one of the triumphs of it actually is it's not a contest.
Hold on, there's no winner.
There's no winner. And that's what makes it great, actually. It's a celebration. So every single person is cheered, walks, and we did it all in nation order. Jeez, there were so many people. So
what was the Navarr option like?
Oh my gosh, we had the best. We were like, it was so good. We had Nim, who is played by Abby, from Abby. Yeah. And we had, who was phenomenal, turned up with somebody from Varushka, I think. I'm sorry, Abby, got that wrong.
Media LARP winner.
Yeah, Media LARP Award winner. Congratulations, by the way.
TikTok videos.
Yeah, really good. Fucking good. Runs Nim's Noms, he's really good. We also had Darius.
No way.
Yeah, dude. Big Daddy D turned up and was phenomenal. Bram turned up. It was so good. Bramble turned up and was like there with one of my spare bows, like strutting. It was so good. That was Navarr. Demarion turned up for Dawn.
Yeah.
It was fucking rocking it. Absolutely, like... And what was great was...
He's virtually a model anyway.
Jesus.
Fucking handsome bastard.
So there's some gorgeous people. But, I mean, everyone looks fantastic. It was amazing, dude. It was such a triumph. And to put it on is actually... It's quite a lot of stress, to be fair. Like I said, I've got the easiest job. But like Hazel's like running around the field, getting people to sign up, all different nations. Like she spent a lot of time just getting names on sheets, getting people to getting people to turn up at a certain time at a certain place and actually do the thing is no small feat. And yeah, it was fucking great. I was walking around before it started. I moved helped move a bunch of the benches and stuff to set up. The market's a lovely space, by the way. We've got a proper little catwalk. We had people from the Looking Glass there. The crowd all turned up. I was handing out bubbles to everybody. I walked around with Ifan on my shoulders.
It's not quite my...
Sam, who plays Styx now in the Orcs, and was there with Puppet, which you can give a handshake to, and when you give a handshake to it, if you shake too hard, the hand pops off, and it's like a little magnet. It's so good. I'm gonna put there's some pictures of it. I'll post them up.
It's not my scene,
yeah,
but I think it's fucking fun,
dude. It's so good, and to be honest with you, I was busy working the crowd, so I actually didn't see that much of the performance. So I'm not going to list off all the people who turned up because I'm going to miss people. And obviously we had like 32 people. But the kit was fucking great. And all different styles, as you say. Celebrations, all different nations, all different ways of doing it. It just fucking rocked. The vibes at the end, and this was the like when you do it, and it's a good chunky bit of time to actually go through it. It's fairly high energy, but the crowd are fucking there for it. People are cheering. We've got some people playing some instruments on the side. People blowing bubbles. People eating cupcakes, drinking. It's fucking great. And at the end, when it's all said and done, and I'm so fucking chuffed for Hazel, right? Because she really puts a lot of work into it. It was just great. It was a lovely feeling. The three of us all coming together at the end, just being like rocking as a team. Absolutely killed it. All of the people who took part, thank you so much. Like, you're what it's all about. And the crowd were full high energy. Some of the things were so funny. Like, I remember when Darius walks down, he's kind of like showing a bit of thigh. And like, when he gets to the end, he pulls out like a bollock dagger, hands it to somebody in the crowd, and like struts off, like not looking back. It was so good. It was like so lovely. Like, there was stuff like that all the way through.
Super sass
all the way through. Like, there was a lady who had like a piece, like a garment that could like be a cloak that could be inverted and then could all be like taken away to like, it was like from Varushka, I think, to be like multiple different styles of dress, loads of cool stuff. Demarion fucking rocked it, as you say, he's like a fucking model anyway. Had this kind of cloak, the whole reveal for this fucking gorgeous red garment he's got underneath. Absolutely top tier. Everyone killed it. Wintermark, we want you there next time. Please turn up. With like, we adore you and we want you there. You're fucking killer.
Senate election for Miarin.
Yes. So I had nothing to do with this. This was more your kind of bag.
I rocked up.
So this is Leafy's position. Am I correct?
This is Leafy's position.
I heard a bit of spice on this actually.
So he's got a very capable proxy called Maddie. Oh, God, I can't remember her fucking in-character name now.
Yeah.
And my favourite horned troublemaker from the Black Scar was also running.
Amazing.
It was a really interesting. So anyone from Miarin can vote for them.
Yeah.
And they ask questions.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting because the questions got asked and the way that the different candidates answered was really interesting. And it felt like, which flavour of senator do you want? I think all three candidates were very, very good. I thought that it was like, it wasn't an easy choice. And bear in mind, I'm friends with all of them.
Yeah.
I think Leafy's an extremely capable fucking senator, by the way. And he's shown me a lot of support.
Yeah.
In the end, Leafy retained his seat.
He did.
But he did throw a tiny bit of shade towards the old proxy there.
That was very spicy. So I'm going to say what I heard.
Yeah, go on.
Confirm or deny. I heard that he said they weren't ready yet.
Yes.
Now, I find that very spicy.
To be like, they're very good, but they're not quite ready yet. And
wow.
that's one thing to say that
in private.
But in the election,
Leafy. I know.
Oh, that's
very spicy. I think there'd been some communication OC beforehand, I have to say. But it wasn't. Okay, well, yeah. Well, I don't know. But
spicy.
It's very spicy. But yeah, it's great. It's a great game. Also, I like the idea of challenging for positions.
Yeah,
and just,
me too. I think it's really good. I think the thing is that Leafy's extremely capable.
Yes.
The Senate is actually quite diverse for representation. Although in VAR, we currently have 3 men who are senators. I'm one of them.
Yeah. I feel though, I genuinely feel that's more just how it's fallen rather than
maybe you'd like to think so, but like.
No, that's very easy for me to say.
It's very easy for you to say. Bear in mind, like, I aged out Demelza for my Senate position.
That was very close, though. They're all quite close.
So I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I don't know where I stand on this, seeing that I'm part of the problem potentially. Yeah. But like, I don't know. I think next year will be interesting. Also, my view on time at Empire has changed quite a lot. Like,
in what respect?
Well, for some people, especially for us when we first started, a year is a very long time. Now, the game's been going on for a decade now.
Yeah, dude.
And so, time changes a lot. Or is it 9 years now? So if someone's been in a position for 3 years, that might be considered to be a short amount of time. So it's very interesting to see people that have been playing the game for a long time compared to people that have been playing a short amount. We're in this weird middle bracket where we've been playing for 5 years,
but the long dark in the middle of that,
and the long dark in the middle of that, so it doesn't even count.
Everything.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
I think like. I don't know. Like I've always felt that term limits is a thing that I like the idea of. I'm not logistic. I couldn't even say to you what I want. I would want a term limit to be.
Okay, the problem is, I agree. I would love to see term limits, but then I look at people like Rizard, fucking Leafy. I think both of them are great examples of really fucking competent people doing the job.
Yeah.
Brenos.
Yeah.
Really fucking competent at doing the job.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Can you imagine if it was like...
So, I hold, like, what's that, cognitive dissonance. I hold both positions in my head at the same time, and they're not compatible.
The thing is, I feel like if we wanted term limits, it's something we'd have to almost go through Synod to get. It feels like something that has to be achieved in-game.
For me, I might be talking out my arse. I think it would start in Synod, and then be a Senate motion,
right?
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Like it maybe like some virtuous motion.
I don't even know whether the game's designed to do that. Yeah. So I don't know. Again, we're getting into a lot of rules hammering here, but at the same time, I'm like, I hate monopolies.
Yeah.
Like especially in modern Britain, monopolies seem to be quite bad. I like choice, but sometimes the game's very hard, and therefore having experienced people is actually very good. Yeah. And actually, like, Navarr's a good example of this. Having a high turnover of generals
we just got rocked, right?
Is, like, what you really want is people who are in a position, when they step down or lose their position, they act as... helpers to the new person. Now, I'm really lucky in that Riz, Travid, and Leafy, especially, actually all of them, are very supportive.
Yeah.
In fact, like I should be asking them more questions rather than less. And we had I had a really good time with Simon, who plays Leafy, on Thursday.
Yeah.
We can talk about this now. Oh my god, we've been talking for like 120, an hour and 20 minutes, and we've got loads more to go. The kind of actually, I'm going to talk a lot about the kind of my Senate feelings on Sunday because it'll be a shorter episode, and I'm sure people are fucking sick of me talking about Senate at this stage.
Yeah, it's fascinating to me because it's honestly not a part of the game I engage with, but maybe Sunday is a better day.
Okay, so you might know this better than I do because I can't remember. Something happened in Dawn. And someone in Dawn did something bad that Navarr were pissed off about.
Okay.
And then they were branded a couple of times.
I'm going to get the name wrong. I think begins with a T, Tyrion, Tyrick, something like that.
Right.
Whatever.
So...
Matey from Dawn
what did they
decided he would basically do the ritual of Dance of Navarr and Fawn, which is a Navarri kind of cultural ritual to do a thing. without consulting Navarr, without talking to Navarr. I just did it.
And we got pretty pissed off.
Got pretty pissed off about that.
People threw mana into
Literally were throwing mana into the centre of the standing circle to make sure that all manner of shit could be done.
Okay.
As far as I know, in Dawn as well, people in Dawn obviously knew how big a issue this was. Has to be said, I believe this player... I know the player by sight rather than interaction, but I kind of get the vibe. The player's like one is like a bit of a chaos engine in a sense, and plays for that kind of game, as much as I'm aware.
So they got branded.
Yes, they had the brand of Iramis, very much like how I did, and all of that kind of stuff. I actually, because I have a bunch of the brands, which I've got like transfers that I put on basically. I literally ran over and gave them one so they could go and have it as a Fizz rep.
So bear this in mind.
Yeah.
I'm walking through the league.
Okay.
And this is a very OC conversation.
Yeah.
What I'm about to say must not, dear listener.
Yeah.
And I bump into a couple of Dornish fellas.
Right.
And they say, slap a Dornish fella. And I'm like, how much for slapping a Dornish fella? And they give me a price. And I say, how about if I have a specific Dornish person that I wanted to get slapped?
No.
And they went, who? Now,
your mind went to one place, didn't
I
it?
went to one place because there is a person who is a regular person who tends to get in trouble.
Yes.
Called Captain Charge.
Yeah. Who, by the way, is awesome at all.
Yeah, by the way,
just a phenomenal
I've
player.
spoken to this person afterwards, by the way. And I said, do you know Captain Charge? They went, yes. And I went, could you slap them?
Amazing.
And they were like, well, it's going to cost me 3 crowns for the assault charge. So we produced 4 crowns. And then they were like, who shall I say did this? You're a senator, right? And I went, yeah. My name is Travid.
You did not. You did not. Get out, Ashbourne, you fucking scoundrel. Oh my gosh.
So...
That's another Navarri senator. You didn't even pick someone from another nation.
Well, he knows I'm a Navarri. That's the first one I came up with in my head. Because I like Travid.
You like him?
Yeah.
That's the worst reason to do it.
Well, he's the first one that came into my head. I didn't want it to be me be responsible because then I'll have some Dornish person try and beat me up.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
So
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Turns out,
yeah,
not the person who did the thing.
No.
And they put a post in the Navarri Facebook. Could the person who paid for me to get slapped please send me a message? I sent them a message back being like, so funny story. You didn't do anything wrong.
So good.
And I thought it was you. Turned out it wasn't you. And they were like, and you're Travid. And I'm like, no, but between me and you, that's the name I gave.
Amazing.
And I think he's going to rock up to Navarr and be like, what do I have to do to make you people happy?
That is hilarious, dude.
It's so bad, but it was like I said, I was feeling mischievous, and
you had a vibe actually all event.
I did have a vibe. Yeah.
I think you were rocking it. I think I'd say I think you found a lot more of where the character is this event.
Yeah, I got my mojo back.
You got your mojo back. I think actually you got a lot more love for the fucking whole game back.
Yeah. We lost a bunch of people.
Fucking hell. Oh, I also got, like, randomly, like, at the end of the fashion show, I should say, I just got, like, a young fella ran up to me, handed me a letter, I was like, tell us Ashbourne? And I was like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And I had this happen, like, both during the fashion show, and I thought, okay, stick that in the pocket, because I'm handing out cupcakes.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the fashion show, one of the letters That's a fucking poison letter from the Blood Games.
Well,
directed to me.
Was funny.
Like, how can you call Blood Games
Okay.
and a poison letter against me? I'm not even part of it.
What was funny about that was we sat down at the camp.
Yeah.
And we both had identical letters.
Yeah.
And you opened yours first.
Yeah.
And when, it says Blood Games and has a note saying this letter could be poisoned or whatever. So I didn't open mine, thus saving myself 1 point in the Blood Games.
Blammo.
So thanks for taking one for the team.
That's my purpose. And the other letter was...
Yeah,
the other letter was Talis Ashbourne, your days are numbered. Unsigned, that's all. Basically. And I thought all of this stuff was done. I thought I was out, Dave.
No.
But they just reel me back in. It was good fun.
Having had a lot of kind of potential death threats and rumours of death threats.
Yeah.
It's like, stop fucking talking and fucking do something. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. If I want someone to do something now, I'm having a great time. I'm not sure I'm ready to die now.
Well,
I'm having a great time.
Your kit's looking pretty formidable for other nations.
Yeah, dude, we lost a bunch of people. So
we have 20 minutes.
Okay, so I heard that Ravadi died.
Yes.
Talis is pretty good friends with Ravadi.
Yeah.
They
are a great asset to the nation.
Yeah, champion of vigilance, and I was basically like, I remember Gaius turned up, told me. I had like a moment of like 5 seconds reflection, and I like stood up and just left the camp. Basically, I didn't actually know which striding or studying they were part of. So I just started walking around, just asking who knows, like where, like who do I speak to, and as I'm walking out of Navarr through the entrance, I'm thinking like maybe somebody on the outside area, like the non-Navarri wood camping area, will know. I see two people from the Waystone Path who are obviously good friends of mine walking with their hands up. And I'm like, fuck. And they just kind of look at me and shake their head. There's been a bunch of skirmishes go off. Summer Heralds, bad do.
I heard that they were literally going around just boxing people.
Yes.
And
devouring their souls.
Dead. It
got bad.
We
bad
lost
business.
6-1, I heard.
Yeah. So I'm kind of rocked. I go to the corpse glade just in time to see Silver and the Waystone Path has come out the corpse glade, basically having just said goodbye to a bunch, and that was hard. Talis's role, as I say, I kind of touched on this a bit earlier. I'm like a weird kind of grief counsellor in a strange way. And
Let me tell you about how I was sad this one time. Is that what you're...
No, not really. I was just kind of like, I can kind of like... Yeah, it was nice, but it was like just like talking to people, having them talk about the people they've lost, telling kind of stuff, but like obviously not. And and then I was like, geez, that's a lot. That was a big hit. And I step out of Navarr, still trying to find obviously Ravadi striding, literally right outside. There they are in Varushkan kit, right? New character, obviously, and I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm just like, I'm trying to hold myself together, and I'm just like, oh, hello, welcome to Navarr. I'm afraid you caught me at a bad moment. A friend of mine just passed. It was really fucking tough, because I did like, it was one of those things, and it was nice. I gave them a hug, headed back.
This is someone that you had a photo shoot with.
Yeah, literally like a few hours before.
It's nice that you managed to get the photo shoot away before this happened. It still sucks.
It sucks, dude. Went to Thornfang, where obviously I knew that they had links to. Spoke to the Hammer of Navarr.
Oh, I don't know Thornfang.
Yeah. So that's where the Hammer of Navarr and Merlin, who played Aisha before.
Is it their group?
Their group.
Oh, cool. Some good folks in that.
So I went over there. I spoke, like, they'd lost other people as well. Yeah, it was
It
bad.
sounded like a bad afternoon, dude.
And I was like, I gotta do like serious Teller stuff. So I'm kind of like, I speak to the Hammer. I'm kind of basically, Ashes to Rise, Sorry as We Grow kind of stuff. Then I was like, I should probably say something more broadly to the group.
Okay.
So I do.
What did you say?
Similar kind of vibes, just
Yeah.
like, this is how we do in Navarr.
Yeah.
And this is the words we have in Ashbourne, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, all that kind of vibe, right? Yeah, it sucked. And it was kind of one of those things where, like, Talis has kind of lost a lot of people at this stage. And he's still around. And he's, like, kind of at a point where it's like Farron earlier, talking about people dropping off the stuff. And it's like there's a sort of degree of, like, powerlessness.
You need to change your attitude.
Yeah.
You need a Gellert Ashbourne attitude to this.
They
live virtuous lives.
Yeah.
They served the Empire.
Yeah.
And their souls will be moving swiftly through the labyrinth.
Yeah. You're talking about... Yeah. It's a bit more difficult. Like, you've got a young soul. Like, yeah, it's been going along a while. And I just had this stage where I was just like... I was kind of reflecting, like, where even am I with, like, loss? Because, like, I've been, for a bunch of people, like, a kind of a person they come up to and do a bunch. And I love that, by the way. It's awesome. But I'm like, Talis' thing is, like, he's strong for people when it comes to stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I had, like, a thing of, like, yeah, I'm going to go to the Corpse Glade alone and deal with my shit there. With the possibility that people may come upon me. Nobody did. But if they did, I felt like at least that gives people the opportunity to find game where I am grieving. Because I don't tend to do that kind of stuff publicly.
I think Keys did a Gaius. God, he's got
did
two
a
names.
telling over at the Star Seekers for Birch.
Yeah, we're a funeral for hire now.
Yeah,
well,
we kind of do that kind of vibe, right? Like, I like this about the character.
Like
it's cool.
It's touching on Verushka, but I like you get the professionals in.
Yeah, it was nice. It was cool. Grief. It was cool. There was a lot to do, but it was fun.
There was the games where we take on Verushka to win there's a seat which gives you herb gardens. Navarr literally had to tap out because of how many losses of thorns we'd had.
Yeah.
Because
this was against Dawn, sorry, yeah.
Dawn, yeah. So that shows how many we'd lost.
Yeah.
Right, so
fuck, there's a lot still to go through. Do you want
to... We're going to do it.
Agnes' birthday.
Agnes' birthday. I got Agnes some presents.
I got Agnes some presents.
Your present was way better than my present.
What did you get? You explain what you got.
I got a little bobble pen that
great.
If you hit the end, and it's like a little face
it was cool.
with hair and it wobbles, and
a parasol,
a patch.
Right? A patch. Right.
Which was like a moon with a camp on it. And
nice.
It was nice.
I got a very ostentatious green and gold bag with like a pendant inside it.
Yeah, fuck you. All right, and then so we need to move on.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a bit. So I'm heading down. It's coming up to 9:00. Time for my VIP.
Amazing.
At the Promiscuous Dodo,
right,
in the Brass Coast, made famous for their telling of the Coctopus play, which is where my previous character died.
Amazing.
I get there.
Yeah.
Oh, Gellert Ashbourne.
Yeah.
You're our guest of honour. Please come this way.
What?
So
I'm so jealous.
I head in. And there's like the cheap seats where people sit on the floor.
Yeah.
There's the VIP seats where they're all sitting down.
Yeah.
And then there's a special seat just for me. So
I'm so pleased for you, dude.
So I go and sit down on this seat. A nice lady comes over and she's like, "Can I have you some drinks? Maybe some food?" I'm like, "Let's have a shot of that and a drink of this." And I'm sitting there and I'm having a nice time. And then next to me are two High Guard ladies. And I know Blood Games might be related to Highguard, so
Right.
I'm keeping one eye on them. Agni's a couple of seats back, and
Get down, Mr. Senator.
yeah, get down, Mr. Senator. So I'm sitting there, and they open with a kazoo choir, which was fucking awesome.
Sounds incredible.
We have songs. They do the story of the Dill Dodo, which was
I've heard about this, yeah.
very heartfelt. And as the Dill Dodo is going on, which I don't want to give too many spoilers about the story,
Yeah.
it's very, very good.
Very
And
good.
by the
You
way,
should go and watch the
I
Dodo.
highly recommend all
All
this.
of their plays, yeah.
They travel to the night realm where there's a fellow with a dagger.
Right.
And then midway through the performance, the actor leans down to me with the knife and goes, "Blood Games."
Amazing.
And I was like, "Son of a bitch! If you want to kill Gellert Ashbourne,
Get him to a theatre.
invite him to a VIP, innuendo-fueled, very professional performance. That's how you get me. 100% how you get me. Yeah, like, bravo.
Bravo. That's some
Bravo.
good. That's some good. Yeah, that's a good kill.
That is...
That's a good kill.
That's a good kill. Like, I know that at one stage I was in Senate and Jono, I felt this tap on my leg. I looked down and Jono's come round the side of Senate and like hit me with a knife and gone, "Blood Games," and then walked off. That's good, but like,
Yeah.
getting me in a theatre and getting one of the performers to do it,
amazing.
well done.
Yeah.
So I helped myself to another drink and then passed one back to Agni, and I thought that was fair enough. God knows how many favours or money they had to pay for that to happen.
Fuck it, it's amazing.
Fucking amazing. But on the way to the theatre, guess who I bumped into?
Yeah, you bumped into the captain.
I did bump into the captain, and as I'm walking along, before he sees me,
Right.
I go, "Oh, Captain, my captain." And he turned, and the look on his face was like, "Ugh." And I was like, "Oh, it's nice to see you. Do you know what's funny? I read a little article in the paper recently about you." And he was like, "Oh, God, they won't stop." And it's like in the marches, everybody's saying, "Oh, Captain, my captain," every time he goes anywhere.
Amazing.
I spoke to the guy and he was like, "OC, it's fucking brilliant."
Yeah.
"IC, I'm fucking raging." It's like so fucking good. Let's go talk about the Jackdaw Party.
The Jackdaw Pie was fire.
There ain't no
right?
party like a Jackdaw Party.
Jeez, and mass thanks to the Reapers for hosting.
Oh my God.
They went all out.
It was actually like a proper fucking party.
Like, I'm talking like mega scale. Like, how many people would you reckon? Like
50,
100?
60, maybe. It was
It was a lot of people.
When I arrived, they were doing the play of
did you
the
see
Jolly
that?
Jackdaws and how
Uncle fucking
Uncle
Nietzsche.
Nietzsche was defeating all the enemies.
It was so good. And, like, this play, by the way, was absolutely incredible. It had like the writer was self-inserted, I would say, and the tropage and the uses of tropage was amazing.
I thought it was a very accurate. Historical
accounting.
Yes, of the Grendel being scared,
Uh-huh.
and then there were some other orcs that were scared, and he was very courageous and fighting.
I thought the writing was so good that I may have hired them to write a script.
Fuck off!
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It has to happen. It's too good. It was too cool.
Where are
for
you
school.
getting the money from?
Fucking that's later me problem.
Oh my God!
Look, I'm not going to turn down the option. I love the idea. This is where I'm at. I love the idea of Nietzsche being like Biggles, and it's like I love the Uncle Nietzsche character and the idea that he comes across Talis Ashbourne in Bricelliand trying to save Ifan, and I'll leave it at that.
Well, you're the hero of Bricelliand.
Yeah,
So
it was fucking great. But there was all sorts. There was the play.
Dude, we got like 15 minutes. We got loads of time.
There was the play. There was a puppet show. I don't know if you saw that. That was
didn't see the
fucking
puppet
amazing.
show.
The puppet show with little
Which
finger
puppets?
puppets.
Oh, finger puppets.
Oh, it was so good. And they had a little box set up. I brought a light round for them and stuff. It was so good. Like, they were all there doing little performance.
So that reminds me. There's a Gellert Ashbourne finger puppet.
And Gaius has it.
Gaius
for
has
when
it
you're in Senate and
to
it
help
talks
him
to
with-
him.
yeah.
It's so good. I loved all of this.
Man.
It was so nice, and it looks like you.
I mean, obviously.
Roughly, yeah. It's got that handsome physique to it.
The only thing I'm disappointed about was not seeing a performance by Derek, or even seeing Derek over the weekend.
He's too cool for school.
He's up to cool stuff that I'm not
Yeah,
even
he goes
part
to
of.
whole other tiers of party.
Yeah.
Derek is in parties in like the fucking the Hall of Worlds.
Hey,
or
all I
something.
want is a little fist bump of Derek, and
So good.
you know he's my homie.
Um,
They had
fire
fire
breathing,
dancing, fire
yeah.
dancing, fire breathing.
The wheelbarrow was there.
Wheelbarrow was serving up.
It was so good. Like the whole
Outrageous.
thing. They got to a stage. So I'm watching I've just finished watching the play. I'm watching the finger puppets. I'm watching Silgor do who's amazing. Like he's one of the guys in the Black Vigil.
Right.
A phenomenal bard doing performance over there, and Uncle Nietzsche comes up and is like fire performance over here. And I was like one of those scenes where a kid doesn't know where to go at a party, and it's just like sensory
And
overload in every direction.
There were a lot of movers and shakers there as well.
It was great.
There was lots of people to talk to, lots of nice folks.
It was lovely. I tell you what, I was getting pulled all over the place,
Oh,
and
I'm
it
sure
was
you
so
were.
much
I'm
fun.
sure you were.
It was a lot of fun. I was handing out bubbles. It was great. It was great. But during the party, I had some leaguers come up to me, and I thought they were jackdaws. I roughly recognised them, but it was dark, and they came up to me, "Can we talk to you for a second outside?" I was like, "This looks like a shanking."
It sounds a lot like a
This
shanking.
sounds like a
or
shanking.
a cursing.
I head outside anyway.
Of course you do. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is perfect. So I head outside, and it is. And they basically tell me they lost their brother.
Oh really? When?
Yeah, when could that have happened?
Oh no.
And it was great actually. They gave me this cool RP. They hand me this signet ring, like this kind of red ring, and they're like, "This is so you wear this. This is a reckoning until you've saved." I was given a number of 16 leaguers that I must save personally.
Hold on.
Or 32. I think it was 32 leaguers I'm responsible for assisting and saving.
What?
Collectively.
You give them the name 16.
They
Or
just told
16
that's the number.
as a number.
16 as a number. But I figure I must have to get names somehow. So I'm going to have to rescue people and get them. Do you mind just giving me your name so I can write it down on my tally?
Please stop resisting. I'm trying to rescue you.
So good though. The RP was awesome. Bear in mind, again, Talus's view of a lot of this is different.
What
to what
does a
people think.
reckoning mean?
I think my interpretation of it means if I don't do the thing, I get fucking killed. It doesn't mean that. To be honest with you, I'm going to be perfectly honest. Talus's opinion is it don't matter what half magic is on show. If I'm dead. So it seemed like the guy was talking to me hand on blade the whole time with another person a couple of steps around me, hand on blade. I was like, I'll wear the ring.
Yeah, I'll take that ring right now. Thank you very much.
16 sounds like a perfect number.
Hey, and you get a free ring out of it.
Yeah,
so
it was awesome RP. Actually, as
How
well.
are you going to save a bunch of fucking leaguers?
I've got to just get it done.
Alright.
Actually, but generally, the RP was phenomenal.
Alright, hear me out.
I loved it.
Mass poisoning. You come in, heal them all up.
Yeah. We can have this in a
Jobs
jiffy.
are good.
Jobs are good. We can get this sorted. Yeah.
Just need to poison a bunch of them.
You can game this super good.
Yeah. 16 isn't that
16
many.
is not that many. I reckon I can get 16 relatively quick.
Who wants a drink? And then, funny story,
Bish bash bosh.
you're all now saved. You're welcome. Names on this docket, please.
Dude, it was fun. It added that whole extra vibe to the party, right? Amazing. Go back into the party. It's incredible. There's more to the RP than that, but it was fun.
I left there and headed to Senate.
Yeah.
Because I knew that Bung was
was
there.
finishing,
Yeah. And so, funny story.
Yeah.
Agni
Yeah.
tried to spike my drink with bite and cat piss,
Right.
but didn't have the lammies ready, so
Right.
didn't tell me.
Right.
And then I went off and gave Bungle the fucking drink in Senate,
Amazing.
because I'm a good senator.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want to help out.
Look after your lads.
But none of us knew we were drugged. But then it was like, what happens if I had been drugged and then gave the drink to him while he was in Senate, and then he got drugged while he was in Senate, and then started to act fucking nuts. So
It would go poorly, is what I would say.
yeah, so just as well that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I had a whole thing with Agni where she blood gamed me at the start of the weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
A breaking of trust.
And then I might have paralysed her
Wow.
because she was arguing with me about it. So I paralysed her and walked off.
Wow.
But,
Spicy.
But by the end of the weekend,
Best of friends.
we'd come back to terms again.
Okay.
I think she was a little stressed out. She was looking for a husband. There was a lot of things going on. I think she's a lot more chill now.
Yeah.
So she just needed to work that out. And where am I going to find another free scribe from?
Your RP is so good. I love it so much.
She's a little evil.
Yeah.
A little.
A smidge.
But she's a very good scribe.
Capable.
So if she was charged for anything, I would have to go and like defend her and be like,
Oh, can you imagine?
could the court... I understand if you need to execute her,
Yeah.
but could you find me a replacement?
Yeah. I need a capable scribe.
I need a capable scribe.
While you're doing that, I head off to smut reading. I think you joined me briefly.
Briefly, I showed up late, unfortunately, so I...
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I won't kind of go into it. It was a longer one. It was good. But basically, it devolved into a very late night afterwards. I don't know how your night turned after that.
I also got another early night.
I went very late.
I think I was in bed by midnight.
I was not in bed by midnight.
I had a lovely sleep.
I did not.
Oh, I had a nap on Saturday. Oh, this is one thing. I want to mention this now. How much time do we have? Oh, we've got a little bit of time. Ooh, not much. Because, okay, this is how great my friendship group is.
Yeah.
I had a nap on Saturday.
Yeah.
A very nice nap. But on Friday, because of all the shenanigans, I didn't have a chance to nap. And people in the camp were like, shit.
Yeah. You've got to get him his nap.
Dave hasn't had a chance to nap.
Yeah.
And
We
it's
care
like,
about you.
people know I need a nap.
Yeah.
I'm like a fucking toddler. If I don't have a nap, I get
bit
grumpy.
antsy.
I get grumpy.
Yeah.
And then I kicked off in front of the fucking oath right. So therefore...
Did you get ordered to have a nap?
No, well, this is the thing. It was already too late by then. I'd already got grumpy and fucking sparked off in front of the oath right fucking editor. So therefore, I must schedule naps.
Are we going to have somebody like behind you with like
Agni
marrow wart just ready to like
Agni-
inject it?
Agni, write this down.
Yeah.
Schedule a nap time. And then keep people away if they want to. The senator is napping now. In fact, I think they actually did that on Saturday whilst people showed up and they were like, the senator's actually sleeping. It's nappy time.
Yeah, it's nappy naps.
Yeah, little nappy time.
You've got a very capable team. They can do without you for an hour.
I do. I want to give a quick shout out to there's some Navarr private investigators.
Amazing, yeah.
I paid them my 6 rings before I got my wallet back. I just want to give a quick shout out to them because they were very, very good. Right,
I'm going to roll the dice,
roll
Dave,
the dice
before we lose the last
the last vestiges of
12 again. We have to go another one.
No,
right?
another one.
3.
2, 3. Ooh, that's... Who is that? Elliot Goddard.
Elliot Goddard.
Thank you so much, bud.
Thank you.
You're a long-time supporter and we appreciate you. Yeah, so thanks to our patrons. Thanks to Elliot. We will come back for Sunday. We've been talking a lot, dude.
We've been talking a lot.
A lot.
There's a lot left to go. Sunday's pretty heavy.
Sidetracked so hard.
Yeah, it was good,
I haven't
though.
even talked about my feelings on Senate yet. Join us next time and we will finish this bit job.